Yes, welcome to this wonderful occasion. Yes, a wonderful presentation here from Mr. Tijani Omeza, the French instructor here at CBM campus. Yes, I am obliged to do a complete overview of the table of contents of this French material that we have right here on the screen. You can see on the screen right there. Okay. Now you can see chapter one, the French language, where you have introduction right there. So let's start from the introduction. Okay. Yes, the introduction. Can you see that there? It said, "I want to thank you and congratulate you for downloading the book." Yes, French for beginners. Yeah, this book is actually for beginners. So if your level is higher than that of a beginner, then you don't need this part. Your level might be intermediary. But here at CBM, we teach everybody as if they were on the same level, and it's only right for us to start from the beginning, so everybody's carried along. Okay? Yeah. So you can see. So let's just just browse through quickly before I return to where I was earlier. Is that taken? Yes. So that's just the way it is. Okay. That's the way it goes. That's introduction. Introduction. Is there? Okay. So now you know what it's all about. So let's move to the next part. Chapter 1, the French language. Yes, the people from all over the world love the French language and would love to learn it. In fact, there's a high likelihood that you are already familiar with some French phrases and words because of the French invasion in England during the 11th century, okay? And the French language has given significant contributions to English vocabulary. This means that even if you are actively learning French, but you are adept in English, you're already using a lot of French words without you knowing. Now, the reason for that is that, yes, the French language, you need to know about it. You need to know history. You got a history about the French language here. French language has a hold on English vocabulary due to the fact that many English words are found in the French language, okay, itself. Is that taken? Yes, so the French language is a language which is spoken in France. It's originated in France, and it's spoken in many other countries like Canada, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Mali, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this language is a language which has a lot of words in the English language, because the English language is heavily predicated, hinged upon the French language for words, and that's why most of the words that are kind of old in English, when you research them, you find out that they have their roots in French. And the etymology of such words is always connected to the French language. Okay, there's so many of them. Is that understood? Yes, and like what you can see on the screen right there. This means that even if you are not actively learning French, but definitely you are already using a lot of French words without you knowing, because of hundreds of years of interaction with the British and because of common ancient forefathers, French has offered English speakers a fairly easy path to conversing using a different language. Okay. Then the second paragraph there you can see some of these unique French sounds include the silent H. Yes, in the French language, the H sound is almost never pronounced. It's never pronounced actually. Okay, and the gruff R. So let's analyze that. The silent H and the gruff R. The silent H. Silent H. The silent H first, okay? Now, in French, H, the H sound is not pronounced. Okay, the vowel next to it is what is usually pronounced. Okay, words like what? Means what? Man. Okay. Means man. But yeah, it's pronounced not hom. Can you see that? Homme. Not hom. Understood? Man. And there are other words like that. Let me see. Yes, with time I will remember, but just know that the H sound is not usually pronounced in the French language. Okay, let me go back to the material right now. And the gruff R sound, the R sound is pronounced as okay. Yeah, instead of R or R, it's say yes, exactly. Yes, let's go back to the explanation. Don't worry, when I remember more words later, I'll get back to the silent H, the gruff R. Now look at this. Let me see. This word here, is tradition, which means tradition in English, right? So the gruff R is not tradition. Tradition. Yes, when people pronounce this in Anglophone countries, the R as you usually think that they have a difficulty in pronouncing that sound. Most of us grew up hearing boys, especially little boys and girls, are having a difficulty to pronounce the R sound. So you think that they don't know how to pronounce the R sound, and in most cases you are correct. But the French actually pronounce the R sound in that way. That's how it is correctly pronounced. Okay, the gruff R, is R, tradition, and things like that. Okay, and words like that. Let's go back to material. Yes. But this does not completely mean that everything you watch and hear on TV is totally accurate. Still, being able to adopt the French accent you have acquired from watching movies can help you a lot while learning the language. Even if French is remotely related to the English language, it is more generally compared to other Romance languages like Spanish and Italian. Okay. Then the next paragraph. Currently there are around 30 countries who name French as one of their official languages. In Canada, French is commonly used in Quebec, the Quebec region only, while in Belgium, French is prevalently used in the southern area only. The spread of the French language can be partly explained by the colonization of several nations in the Pacific, Africa, and the Caribbean by France. On top of that, the French language was actually used as the official language for international diplomacy until the initial years of the 20th century, when the English language took over. Yes, that was because of the British, dominant, British rule across the world. Until now, French is still used as the official language in several global organizations such as United Nations, the Red Cross, and the International Olympic Committee. Okay, yes, and it is also used by the International Postal System, which is why you can see par avion in most letters sent abroad. Let me even add, apart from that, when you talk about the CAF awards, yes, the Confédération Africaine de Football, which is the Confederation of African Football, galas, concerts, things like that. French seems to be the official language. Yes, English is also spoken while presenting awards to footballers, coaches, and the like. But the major language is French because we seem to have more francophone football-loving countries in Africa than the anglophone ones. Okay, so that's just an additional piece of information there. There are also hundreds of English words that have exactly the same spelling in French. It has to be noted, though, that the pronunciation of these words vary and depend on whether the speaker is French or English. Yes, if you're a French-speaking person or you know how, let's say you're well grounded in the French language, maybe because you're a native speaker or you're just somebody who's very knowledgeable in that aspect, you will naturally be able to pronounce words with ease. And once you get the patent, you will know how to pronounce it. Now look at that word, the abattoir, second paragraph. Some examples of these words include what? Abattoir. Now, this is a French word which was taken by the English. Whenever you have OIR in the French language, hello is pronounced as what? Wa. It's pronounced as what? Wa. OIR is pronounced as wa. Let me go and write it down somewhere. I want you to know. Just know that OIR is pronounced as what? It's always pronounced as what? Wow. Okay? Does that take? So OIR is always pronounced as wa. So that word is abattoir, not abattoir. And unfortunately, many Nigerians have a tendency to mispronounce that word because it's pronounced the same way it's pronounced in French as in English. Okay, it's abattoir, not abattoir. This word is spelled in exactly the same way both in English and French. So it also has the same meaning even when it is used in various contexts. This is also one of the many words that originated in France and still retained its original French pronunciation. Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's pronounced the same way in French and English. Okay. I've seen this word has the same meaning when used in most contexts. However, the spelling could vary a little with the addition of either the letter L or D at the beginning of the word when used in certain contexts of French. Yes, in French when you say L there means stands for D, THE, LE, le, or la, LA. De is used for of. It could be DE, DU, or DES. Okay, to mean of. Bourgeois, the next word there. This is one of the many words that migrated into the English world when the Normans conquered England in the mid-11th century. It is still pronounced in exactly the same way, both in English and French, and it has also retained its original meaning. Bourgeois, average in social class, not very high class, but wealthy enough to be seen as well-to-do, but not of the highest class. Bourgeois, more the average class, maybe above average class in society in terms of wealth, right? Bourgeois, so it's pronounced bourgeois. Like I told you, OIS and OIR. Yes, let me also add, OIS is also pronounced as wa. OIR is also pronounced as wa. So it's not bourgeois, it's what? Bourgeois. Bourgeois, okay? Say bourgeois. Thank you. Now, these similar words are one of the reasons that it is often very easy for native English speakers to learn French in a matter of months. After all, these have given their tongues enough practice on how to roll about inside the mouth when pronouncing French words. And so on and so forth, right? And let's move all the way down. Some letters are pronounced in a uniquely French fashion, while others, such as the letter Z, are pronounced in the same way that other major English-speaking countries pronounce them. The French alphabet is listed as follows along with its corresponding pronunciation: A, B, C, D, and so on, right? Is that taken? F, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Okay? Q, L, Q, R, S, T, J, U, okay, V, W, X, Y, Z. Okay, so get those pronunciations then. Yes, so that's just the way it is, okay? Now, let's move to chapter 2. The role of syllables in the French language. In any language, syllables are always a necessary part of proper pronunciation. This is because syllables indicate the proper grouping as well as the natural divisions of the letters in every word. Syllables specifically affect the following aspects of pronunciation: rhythm, poetic meter, stress pattern. Yes, the syllables are usually important in any language at all. You must know your syllables and the stress patterns, okay, and the poetic meter. So let's analyze the meanings of these right now. Rhythm and word stress. Rhythm and word stress. Generally, all of the syllables in French words are stressed equally. It is common to hear English speakers put a stress on the first syllable, which is certainly uncommon in French words. Yes, I've noticed that myself studying the French language. There are more stresses in English language about, okay, education. But the French language has virtually the same patterns of pronunciation, which don't require you to have any stress patterns. That's why when you check the French dictionary, you don't see any stress marks on any of the words. Education, transportation, okay, elimination, things like that, words like that. No particular stress patterns in those words, okay, and you could offset this minor error by trying to add a light stress at the last syllable of the word. The rhythm of French sentences is established by cutting the sentence into relevant sections and then putting a stress on the last syllable of every section. Okay, so let's look at the examples below. Ressembler. Ressembler. Please, can you see that? Ressembler. Please know that when any word ends in ER, it's pronounced as A. Okay? Any word which ends in ER is pronounced as A. Ressembler. There are 3 syllables, ressembler. Note that the first syllable ends in the letter A, while the second syllable has a consonant after the A. This means that the A in re is pronounced as while the second A is pronounced as a nasal vowel. So the pronunciation of the whole word, would be ressembler, 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 ressembler. Yes, ressembler. Maternal. That's what it could have been in English, right? Maternelle, maternelle. Okay. Maternelle. Yeah, so rassembler is the pronunciation of that first one there. Maternelle is the pronunciation of the second word there. Okay, so that's just what it is. One needs to know the patterns of pronunciation. Yes, you might ask, why is it not rassem and why rassembler? Whenever we have em or en, it's pronounced as okay, not m. Rassembler. Let's move down a bit. Most of these words are plural masculine forms and have the letters A and S at the end. Examples are le, The plural form of the word le pronounced as le. Okay? Yes. All the words are pronounced with L-A, L-E, and L-E-S. Le. T-H-E, the. That's the meaning of each of those, okay? Say. C-E-S, say. Pronounced as say. Now, the plural form of the word say pronounced as say. Okay? So, instead of say, it's say. People who are trying to learn how to speak French wouldn't have too much difficulty in learning the accent if they keep in mind that the word stress on all French words is always on the last syllable, and if they understand how the open syllables are treated in every usage. Yes, before we move to chapter 3 there, just get to understand what we just said, okay? That EM and EN are pronounced as it's not really an, okay, in the French language, okay. These are notes you have to understand. These notes you can drop. Please, as you're watching this video, make sure you write all these things down, okay. Yeah, I might just chip in one or two things there. Yes, the first part is that what the French language has a hold on English vocabulary due to the fact that many English words are found in the French language itself, and the silent H in French is always silent, like as an not home, which means man. Then the gruff R is r. Tradition, not tradition. Then OIR and OIS are pronounced as wa. Let me add OIS to that. And OIS are pronounced as what? Wa. Is that understood? So let's go back to the material, to the PDF.